we are moving on to drawing our personal space freehand, right? I thought of this because the architecture process for part one of project 2 was just very structured, and I wanted to make this drawing of your personal space more organic, right? All the little idiosyncrasies that you can show with your hand or without a ruler, I think will help make your personal space more inviting. Okay. Now, when I get started, let's look at our image first. The image I have is of this hallway in my house, and I like it because even though I'm showing you this image, I wanted to show you that, I'm actually standing there as I'm drawing this, and I'm standing up, and I need to figure out, well, where are my horizon line, where are my orthogonal lines going to be, and most importantly, where's my vanishing point? Now, the images of the objects like the paintings, especially on the wall, dictate and show me where the horizon line might lie, because if they're above the horizon line, I can see the bottom of these paintings. If they're below the horizon line, I can see the top of these paintings. And as they're sitting right now, I can't see either or. So that tells me that the paintings hung on the wall are all crossing the horizon line. They're all intersecting with the horizon line. Now, if we go to our drawing, I've drawn this brown box that is standing in for your A4 sheet of paper. Now, I drew it small so everything could fit on the screen here while I draw it, and I've drawn the brown box around it, so that's serving as the outside of our piece of paper. And what I'm doing is taking siding measurements. Now, if you've ever heard the term siding or siding when you're drawing, basically siding means holding up your non-drawing hand. So I'm holding up my left hand here, and you can see that I'm holding up my hand, and the key is to hold your arm up using a ruler or a pencil, anything that you can use to help gauge measurements. Now, we're not talking about exact measurements, we're just talking about relationships, right? How wide is the door relative to how tall the door is? So I took a measurement of basically 4 centimeters wide by 19 centimeters tall. So that was basically 1 by 5. So if I determine that when I draw that, I'm gonna make my width of the door a certain distance, and I'm gonna multiply that distance by 5 in order to get the height of that. And this is very organic, not precise, to try to get us a mood. We're after a mood here. And the fact that we're not using a ruler to make exact measurements or worry about precision, we're after a mood here, after a feeling, again, with all the little idiosyncrasies that you can make with your hand and while you're drawing. So let's keep this going. As you can see, this looks very different from the actual photograph, right? I see more of left side of that hallway than I actually should, right? Given my picture or viewpoint that I took the picture from, that is completely fine. If you're having and making little changes like this, again, we're not about, and this isn't about precision, it's about an emotion. And I think you'll understand this emotive response once we start to add value. And that's our next step. Okay guys, we finished up our line drawing, and now we're going to start to add value. And I'm going to be using my blending stump and a 2B pencil, and I think I break into a 4B pencil. And the first thing that I want to keep in mind is the local value, meaning, is anything painted, right? Painted dark, right? If you look at the picture here, all of the baseboards and the doors are painted this really dark brown. And even the floor is marble. It's more like maroon type marble. And it's not as dark as the door or the baseboards. So I want to keep that in mind too. So I'm gonna speed this up and show you how I shade this. So again, I'm going to be using the 2B pencil and the 4B pencil, and based on those I could just see where stuff lies in relationship to one another, right? I'm always comparing values while I do this. And I love how the blending stump just kind of offers up this very soft and almost atmospheric quality to your work. So make sure you try that out if you can. But in the end, you can shade this however you want to. You can use hatching, cross hatching, pointillism if you're that brave. I will speed this up while I continue to add in these local values of this painted wood, baseboards, and door. Let's see what happens. Now, when it comes to erasing and cleaning up your work, I love using Post-it notes, but any paper will do, especially if you're after some kind of clean line. But in the end, you don't have to use paper as a block for any kind of straight lines. It's just a little kind of shortcut. If you feel like using it, you could also use, I'm using my wide eraser here. You can also use your kneaded eraser to get into really tight spots if you want to. But yeah, don't forget to erase some of your shading if you need to. Let's see what this continues to look like. As far as steps go, but I'm starting to pull in some shadows, and that's your next step, to pull in shadows and then apply value to that 1, 2, 3 scenario that all boxes have, right? We will practice, and we practice during the day, constantly practice your to show a proper cube with shading. You need that read of 1, 2, 3, right? Your lightest value, your mid-tone, and then your darkest value. And I'm trying to use that in all areas here regarding my three-dimensional minor forms, right? All of our major forms were the walls, the doorways, maybe even the baseboards. I would throw them into the minor category, but now that we're starting to shade and add some mood to this, let's keep going and see what comes out. advice, and probably the best piece of advice I could give you when doing this, is to not leave any of your surfaces completely 100% white unless it's a light source, right? And I always love erasing back into shading. That reductive process, reducing that value is always fun for me to do. Notice that I have some more lights that are kind of embedded above the ceiling, and I want to show that too in my walls. So I want to make sure that it adds some value to my walls, and then we'll finally wrap this up and see how it looks. A couple more values added all over the walls. Make sure that they're not white, and then of course blending those walls really gives it this atmospheric type texture, right? If you are too hard with your pencil and made too harsh of line, your blending stump will always help and save you. So use your blending stump whenever you can, if you choose to use it. I'm just trying to punch up the darks here. I noticed that it's getting late outside, and when I took and looked at this image, and I want to punch up some of those darker values so we can really get a nice void. But other than that, this is finished, and I hope you have fun doing yours. I look forward to seeing them. Take care, guys.